First, these headlines, the central theme of which seems to be that the cracks are showing. Last week, Congress was on recess, which led to some pretty spectacular moments in town halls, constituents bringing their outrage directly to their lawmakers, including one in Kottenai County, Idaho, where a woman speaking up was forcibly removed by men in plainclothes who refused to identify themselves. When she was removed from the event, local police showed up, unclear about who these men were or who they were even working for. It turns out that they were working for a private security firm, although they were at the town hall with the county sheriff, who has previously gone viral for MAGA theatrics at the local library. Sheriff Norris later claimed to the Coeur d'Alene Post-False Press that he did not know who hired them or why they were there. The security firm in question is Lear Asset Management. They have a history of passing themselves off as law enforcement and being used against protesters both in Idaho and also here in Northern California. As to when and why they began operating in Idaho, that's still a little unclear. But what is interesting to me about all of this is there appears to be a divide between the Coeur d'Alene police chief, who recently also revoked Lear's license to operate in the city, and County Sheriff Norris, who clearly is fully MAGA-pilled. Experts on civil resistance to authoritarianism have pointed out that police and the military are crucial to upholding an authoritarian regime. And while the police are definitely not our friends, this points to potentially exploitable cracks in the edifice. MAGA has less power than they're trying to project, and even the cops sometimes aren't on board. We were also delighted to see Maine's governor, Janet Mills, going toe-to-toe with Trump, to his face, over the administration's gender policing executive order.
But I understand Maine, is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that.
So the backstory here is there's a student athlete who was outed by a MAGA state rep on social media. The governor and Democratic lawmakers stood by state law and policies, which include protections against discrimination based on gender identity and expression. We need to see more of this standing up to Trump, including to his face, from people who are in positions of power. Finally, funny might be the wrong word to use here, but as a person who is a Catholic in recovery, I find it pretty amusing that 2019 convert and self-proclaimed, quote, baby Catholic J.D. Vance,
I am a baby Catholic,
has been finding himself tangling with the Pope about what Catholic teaching actually means. Backhanded comments from Vance at a national prayer breakfast this morning attempted to credit Pope Francis's leadership while also still refusing to back down from draconian MAGA deportation policies, which the Pope explicitly named and shamed Vance about 2 weeks ago. Vance claimed this morning,
my goal here is not to litigate with him or any other clergy member about who's right and who's...
I am a baby Catholic.
The point of disagreement is that the 88-year-old pontiff has been critical of the MAGA immigration crackdown, and also specifically of Vance's deployment of niche Catholic writings, often weaponized by white supremacists to justify it. There is another lesson here, and it's that it turns out you can fight back from many places, including a hospital bed. Another thing that experts on authoritarianism tell us is that faith communities have a huge role to play in mounting the civil resistance, and I hope to see more faith leaders call out the cruelty, hypocrisy, and bad faith bullshit from the MAGA cultists in the weeks to come.
I am a baby